All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the second segment of today's show, we are going to talk about the Cy Young race and who are the favorites when it comes to the National League and the American League. So, obviously, as we're getting closer to the end of the year, and I think at some point we'll get into MVP talk with the American League and the National League. The American League, I think it's still going to be Shohei Ohtani. But in the National League, you got some candidates, and it's worth talking about. I mean, we could still talk about the American League MVP race, but right now it's a one man race. I think with Ohtani, and again, it just stinks that he. I mean, we could have. I mean, who knows what his stats would have been if he played the whole year? It's like I talked about it yesterday. He could have possibly got up to 60 home runs, but we'll never know. So hopefully he'll do it next year. Um, and he comes back healthy. But yeah. So with the Cy Young, race, it's the National League is where it gets crazy. The American League, you kind of have an idea as of right now, but the National League, it's like it's really crazy. So like looking at an article that MLB released, um, yeah. So right now they had 7 candidates listed uh, that are all possible for the Cy Young. Now some of them are ahead of others, but this is who they have right now. These are the top 7 right now. This is who can win it. Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks, Kodai Senga of the Mets, Blake Snell of the Padres, Justin Steele of the Cubs, Spencer Strider of the Braves, Logan Webb of the Giants, and then you have Zach Wheeler of the Phillies. Now, right now, I would say Blake Snell, Justin Steele, Gallen, Spencer Strider. I think those are the top 4, as it seems. And this came out a few days ago. So right now, they talk about like the different categories that each pitcher, is leading. So if we go to, MLB, and we look at the stats. So right now, in the National League, so Blake Snell right now leads the National League in ERA. Now, baseball has changed a lot because it's and this has to go with both hitting and pitching. Um, batting average and wins don't hold the same weight as they did, previously. Now it's ERA and OPS. Those are the stats that most people pay attention to now. And and I think I understand why. But yeah, like there are guys that can have 10 wins. I mean, Adam Wainwright, for example. We just went over his career, and he had like 12 wins in a season, but his ERA is like past 4 or around 4. Like you want to have, and I could go back to when the Yankees had Nathan Eovaldi before he was a World Series champ and a Cy Young candidate this year. He was before he got hurt. The first year the Yankees had him, he was 14-2, but he had an ERA over 4. I think that's what his record was, 14-2. So, if you ERA is a big deal, and right now Blake Snell has a 2.43 ERA, Justin Steele has a 2.73, Senga 2.95, Logan Webb 3.31, Zach Gallen has a 3.5 ERA, Wheeler has a 3.63. So, right now, Blake Snell, it seems like he could be the favorite based off of ERA. Then you look at wins. Right now, Spencer Strider has 17 wins on the season. He's 17-5 with a 3.73 ERA. Snell has 14. Justin Steele has 16. Gallen has 15. Am I even saying his name? Gallen? I don't even know. Gallen. I really hope I'm saying his. I apologize if I'm I keep saying it how the Rangers' old head coach Gallant. Is it Gallen? Gallant? I don't even know. I think it's Gallen. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I keep saying it like that, but I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. But yeah, he's got 15 wins. Steele has 16. Strider has 17. Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be between Steele and Snell right now. I feel like that's because Snell's the ERA leader. He's got 3 less wins than Strider. Strider's ERA is almost at 4. And then Steele he's got 16 and he's got a 2.73. But Strider's got 259 strikeouts, and the next one is Snell, who's got 217. So, Strider's got him there by a lot. So he's striking out a lot of guys. And then you got Whip, Webb, and Wheeler. They're at the top of that. Webb's got a 1.05. How many wins does Webb have? Webb is 10 and 12. Yeah, I don't think he's not. Yeah, I mean, the article had the top 7. It's definitely not going to be Webb. I don't think Webb's. I mean, he might get some votes, but maybe. But I don't. Yeah, it's not going to be him. Wheeler's got a 1.07 WHIP, and Wheeler's been good. 12 and 6, 3.63 ERA. And for the Met fans out there, it's they made the wrong move letting this guy go, because he could have been there. He could have been the ace of their staff, really. Because of letting go of DeGrom, what happened with Harvey and Syndergaard. It's he could have been the guy, but they let him go. But listen, they got Senga, who's been solid. Senga 11 and 7, 2.95 ERA, 191 strikeouts. Right now he's the ace of the staff, and he's going to be a big piece, going forward, because right now the Mets, their rotation is in flux, and they need to figure out what they're going to do there. So, but I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't think Senga again, another guy that's going to get votes, and probably will do better than Logan Webb when it comes to that. But yeah, it's not going to be. Right now, it's probably going to be Snell, Steele, Strider, Gallan. Right now, that's what it seems from looking at the stats now. Now, I don't know. I think right now, because also Justin Steele pitched the other day against the Diamondbacks and didn't do that good. So that definitely hurt his chances a little bit. So I don't know. It's pretty close. It's going to be close. And it's really going to be who's hot at the right time. If we get to the end of the year and, Snell continues, pitching well, and his ERA is still, sub 2.5, and he's got, almost 20 wins. I mean, it might be him. And also opponent's batting average, he's the only pitcher in the National League where the batting average is below 200. It's 187 right now. Sanga's 205, Strider's 206, Wheeler's 226, Gallen is 237. I don't know why I kept saying Gallan. I don't know. It's whatever. Yeah, well, actually, let's look at his last start. So, actually, yeah, in his last 15 games, Gallen is 6 and 6 with a 4.2 ERA. So that's not good. In his last 15 games, and then in his last 7, he's 4 and 3 with a 3.98. So yeah, right now it doesn't seem like him either. So I think you got to go with Snell, Steele, or Strider. But like I said, Strider's ERA is close to 4, so that hurts him. But then the strikeouts. So, and the thing that the article was saying, it's basically, what do you prefer? Do you prefer wins? Do you prefer ERA? Do you prefer strikeouts? There's so many different things, so to factor in. But Yeah, it's gonna be very close. So let me know what you guys think. I guess right now, as it appears, I would say Snell is probably the front runner just because of ERA, opponent's batting average. He's second behind Strider in strikeouts. Um, but yeah, he's got 14 wins on the season. He's having a really good year, and he's a free agent at the end of the year, so he's gonna be a target for a lot of teams. So, but yeah, I mean that's the National League side of things. So now we move over to the American League, and right now Garrett Cole is the ERA leader, and we talked about this. Eflin's got 15 wins. He leads the American League in wins. Garrett Cole is, at 13. Gosman has 222 strikeouts. Cole has 208. Luis Castillo has 199. Luis Castillo is another, candidate for that as well. He's got 13 wins. So, yeah, it's gonna be close. Eflin, he's at the top when it comes to WHIP. Castillo at 1.04. Garrett Cole at 1.05. Opponent's batting average, yeah, Castillo's at 211, Cole's at 217. So this race is close. It's definitely between Garrett Cole, and Castillo, I would say, and Eflin's got to be up there. Yeah, it's definitely between those three guys, I would say. Gosman, like I said, leads the American League in strikeouts. He's 11-9, but yeah, I don't think he's gonna win the Cy Young. I don't think it's not gonna be him. But yeah, right now, like the top three, as it appears, you got Eflin, Cole, and Castillo. I think as long as Cole keeps his ERA below 3 and he can bounce back and have a better start, because he really did not pitch that good against the Pirates the other night. So if he's able to have a good, 2 starts to finish off the year, because I think he's gonna have like 2 or 3 more starts, and then that'll be it. And he's gonna be going up against the Blue Jays when the Yankees play them starting tonight. So hopefully he's able to go out there and pitch well, and hopefully get that Cy Young that he deserves. And the way the Yankees have been this year, it'd be nice to at least have something to be happy about if he goes out and wins the Cy Young. But it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. But yeah, that's basically it with the Cy Young discussion. Obviously, it's a lot more hectic in the National League because, you got, Strider's leading in strikeouts. Snell is leading in strikeouts and wins. Snell's leading in opponent's batting average and ERA. So it's going to be interesting to see. It is. I think right now, I think Snell looks like he might be the leader based off of ERA. I think ERA, and you got to have, but also you got to have, well, then again, I mean, look at Jacob deGrom and his Mets career. He didn't get a lot of wins. But that's because his ERA was ridiculous. It was below 2. It's yeah. So you gotta ERA. I think is probably the most important stat when it comes to pitching nowadays. Obviously you gotta have some wins, unless like your ERA is just like Jacob deGrom basically. So but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you have winning the Cy Young in both leagues this year? So with that, we are going to take our second break of the show, and then when we come back, I will recap the games from last night, go over that, and then we will get into the power rankings for the final segment. So stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.